Hi everyone, welcome to my channel once again. So I have decided to create a video series on sumo simulations. So if you have a regular visitor to my channel, you would have seen certain videos or lists that I have created, right, under sumo tutorials. But I wanted to like kind of refine it. I wanted to give a fresh set of tutorial for let's say a new person who's trying to learn sumo. I want to take you through the very basics of it through to some level of creating complex simulations. So that's the idea. We'll go with some short videos. I'll create short videos on each of these topics so that you can gradually follow them and improve your knowledge and skills with sumo and hopefully apply it into your one of your projects, right? So we'll get started. Right, so the first thing that we are going to do is I'll first work with a some sort of a toy network, right, so that we know the very basics of it, we can learn the very basics of it. So the idea is I'll be going to create a simulation similar to this, where you have a small intersection with a bus stop and two lanes, and it's basically the traffic is moving to a single direction. And if you run this, you will see vehicles start to enter to the simulation at a certain time step, and you see a bus moving and it stops and moves, and you see some general vehicles are moving. So this is the idea. We'll see how we can build this from the very basics. So without wasting much time, let's head over to our the exercise. Right. So to do this, to do this, you need to have installed Sumo with you. Right. If you haven't done it, I'll link you it to another video so that you can get that step done first, and then you can come to this step. So only thing that you need to install is Sumo and a proper text editor or an IDE, basically, because later we'll be using some Python scripts also involved, right? So in my case, I'll be using Sumo, uh, and in Sumo you have NetEdit as the network editor. This is where you can create your own networks and maybe edit them. So we'll be using this, and also for the moment we only need this, right, to create our network. And later I'll be using VS Code as my text editor. Right. So let's open NetEdit, and this is how you see it, right? So so at the moment it's a blank screen, right, meaning which you don't have anything as of yet. So what you can do is you can hit file, right, and open a new network, right. So this will should create a new window. Let's see. Yeah, it takes some time, but probably some issue with me. Yeah, now here you go, right? So this is the basic view that you get if you want to try and create a network using Sumo, right? So there are a lot of options that are there, right? We don't need to like go through everything and start learning them. Instead, we'll see how best we can apply them to our problem statement that we are trying to recreate, right? So the idea is we have a small intersection. So that's what you're going to create now. Right. So now, if you see, by default, it's default selection is what you call the network mode, right? Yeah. Also, it has a demand mode and also it has data mode. But we'll stick to network mode because we are going to create a network here. So now, by default, you see also it's selected this edge mode, right? Meaning which you can create edges or like rather segments of roads using this tool, right? So those are by default selected, so you can straight away use it. In case if not, you can like quickly, if another tool is selected, you can go to the edge mode and select it, right? So also keyboard shortcuts are also there. right? So say I am in the inspect mode, which we will look into later. But if you want to switch back to the edge mode, uh, hit the letter E of your screen, of your keyboard, and you can move to that, right? So suppose now we are in the edge mode, we can create a network very easily, right? So what you have to do is just click on the screen, right? So this will create a sort of a junction, or what you call a node, right? And as you drag, you can create a particular edge with a appropriate length that of your choice, right? So I'm not going to draw this to any kind of a scale. I just go with freehand for now, right? But you can see in the left bottom of your screen, you can see the scale, right? So you can get approximate idea of how what's the length of it. So yeah, so let's say I'll create a edge like this. So just click and release the mouse button where you want to draw it, and you have an edge, right? Now similarly, now in my case, the traffic is moving to basically this direction, right? So I want to create another one from here, and another edge from here, and then finally connect it through here, right? So to do that, I want to create it in a particular direction, right? So let's create the rather than so you can also create the next one from here and then to here, but the idea is now the direction of that edge is from the start edge to the start node to the end node, right? So you don't want to do that. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'll just simply control Z and undo that particular operation. And what I'm going to do now is I'll just kind of uh, keep my mouse somewhere here and create a new node and connect it to here, right? As you now hover over your mouse, you see there's a kind of a um, magenta kind of a circle comes to updates this particular node, right? Or rather, a new semicircle circle is shown, right? So that means it's kind of get activated. You can once it activated, you can release the mouse here, right? So it creates a particular junction here. So there are three nodes now you have, and it is connected to this two edges, right? So now my final idea is to create another edge towards this direction, right? So so now what I'm going to do is I'll like again click on this one. Now see when it moves, when you hover over or rather go on top of that particular node that you have already created, it now kind of illuminates with the green color. Earlier, remember, it illuminated as a magenta color, right? So because we are connecting to our it as an end node. Now here, this is the starting point of our new edge. So that's why it kind of illuminates as in green color. And so let's click on that, and then you can like drag it to an appropriate length of your choice, right? So remember here we are doing every like on kind of freehand just to get our network created, right? So that's basically our network, and it's pretty much done. But now we want to check couple of things here, right? So the first thing that you might notice is that a warning message comes here towards your uh, right bottom corner saying network requires recomputing, or press F5. So what here means that now you have created your network, but it doesn't kind of certain movements and everything, like for example a vehicle coming from this angle comes to this particular junction and then moves this way, right? So there are movements happening, right? So um so I think it has to be like those connections has to be updated, right? So that is why whenever you do a change to a network, right, going forward we'll be using this heavily. You have to press F5 key, or else it's come under here, right? Go to processing and compute junctions, right? So the short key or the hotkey for that is F5. So if you click that, you see now the junction is appropriately created. And if you zoom in, you will also see the direction which the vehicles are also moving, right? Um, so now let's make this intersection a bit more realistic. Okay, mistakenly I have created another node. So let's hit escape, and it's done. Now you have created now you have created the network, and now you are still in the edge mode. Now with the edge mode, you can't do other changes to your network, for example, increasing the lane count. Now for that, you need to go to the inspect mode. You have this magnifying glass kind of a icon here. So you can either click that, or the hotkey for that would be letter I, right? So now you are in the inspect mode, and you can click on each of these edges, and you can kind of inspect them, so to speak, right? So if I click on one, right, so you say it has an ID, a unique identifier E0, and it has the starting edge or starting node and the ending node. So starting from J0. So if you click here, the ID of that is J0. That's what it means, right? So it ends at J1, right? This particular edge ends at J1. That means this particular junction, or let's say node, right? So that's the idea, right? So you can go to each kind of element of this network, right? Though you see it as a single network, it's kind of created using one kind of individual pieces, right, stitched together. Then you get the network, right? So you can inspect all of these elements one by one and see and do any changes that are required there, right? So the first change, or rather in this case, the only change that I'm going to do here is the change the number of lanes, right? So here you see num lanes kind of attribute is displayed. So simply you can let's say increase it to 2 lanes, right? So you see a new lane is added, right? So similarly, let's do that to everything. Right? So then again, once you do something, it's best practice is to hit F5 key and compute the junctions, right? So this is our network. We'll see how we can run traffic on this. So we'll do that in our next video.